Hey everybody, Stephanie here again. Hope your week's going well and you've been keeping up with all of your homework. Today we'll be tackling the myth that eating healthy is time-consuming and costly. So I'm here to tell you just the opposite, and that there are many ways that we can learn to eat healthy while working with a small budget and even when we don't seem to have much extra time on our hands. So oftentimes we feel as though preparing our own meals and snacks are unrealistic due to our busy lifestyles of picking up and dropping off the kids at school or practice, getting our workouts in at the Y, and going to work. We will often at these times rely on convenience foods, which are foods that are pre-made, they're ready to eat, or they require very little preparation time. And we can get convenience foods from grocery stores, like a frozen dinner that just requires heating, or we may find that we rely on fast food restaurants for quick, filling, and seemingly inexpensive meals. And while convenience foods are practical in some cases, when we eat these types of foods, we're typically consuming foods with poor nutritional value and excess amounts of sodium, sugar, and saturated fat. So for someone with health issues such as obesity, hypertension, or diabetes, these foods can actually be really harmful to your health, especially when we don't know exactly what ingredients are going into them or how they're prepared. So the first misconception that I want to clear up is that fast foods are money saving. So if you were to prepare the meals that you find at fast food restaurants or the deli sections of grocery stores at home, you may actually be paying a lot less for all of these ingredients. So let's take a Big Mac meal, for example, which runs at about $6. If you were to replicate the Big Mac at home and include all of the ingredients, all of the sides, all of the toppings, you might spend just under $2.50 for the same portion size while being able to control the cooking method, the sodium content, and the fat content as well. So notice, 2 portions of these homemade Big Mac meals, which run at about $5, still wouldn't add up to the price of just one from McDonald's. So this extra money over the long run can be put towards something more meaningful and productive, like fun activities with your children or even some Christmas gifts. Now, what if I were to tell you that eating healthy can be even more time-saving than fast food? So though it may be hard to believe, by reserving just one day to meal prep for the upcoming week, you can save all the time that it takes to drive to the fast food restaurant or takeout restaurant, to wait in line, to drive home, to sit down and eat it. So by setting aside time to prepare meals for the week, meal prep each night may be as simple as just heating up the food. So here are some tips to meal prepping that will help you to make healthier food choices. It'll help to stretch your food dollar, and it'll make eating nutritious foods easy and affordable. So we'll start with meal planning. So though this might seem like an extra chore, spending just 10 to 15 minutes for 1 to 2 days per week, planning what you may eat for the next few days will help to save the headache of coming home from work and trying to come up with a meal creation that satisfies the whole entire family and doesn't take up too much time. So to do this, pick 1 to 2 days per week to sit down, look at some recipes online, look at recipes in cookbooks, or maybe even pick an old family recipe that you love, and choose 3 to 4 dinners that you'd like to make or try. If your family would like to join you in doing this, it can make the task pretty fun most of the time. And by involving little ones into the cooking and food prep process, they may be more inspired to participate in prepping, cooking, and most importantly, eating the meal. So when meal planning, it can be really exciting and motivating to try new recipes, but remember, keeping it simple is key. Don't get too overwhelmed with unfamiliar ingredients or cooking methods. And think about cross-utilizing ingredients. And what I mean by this is try to use like ingredients in each meal. This will save money by requiring less food to be purchased at the grocery store, and by preventing food from going to waste. For example, if you want to make a chicken noodle soup, I may want to think about another recipe that uses chicken, celery, and carrots, like a stir fry. You may first want to check your pantry, freezer, or refrigerator for food items that you already have and can work around, so that you save more money during your shopping trip. And so the next step would be to make a shopping list that includes all of your ingredients needed for your recipes. And before shopping, again, be sure to look through your pantry, your refrigerator, your freezer for existing items to prevent food waste and to avoid buying multiples of products. And one thing that I like to do is organize my shopping list into sections of the store, like produce, dairy, meats, spices, and so on, so that the shopping trip is just a much smoother experience. I don't find myself backtracking for items later. And we all know how crazy grocery stores are, which we want to avoid. So when you arrive home with all your ingredients, something to do when putting them away is to organize your food items so that they're visible and in a position to be used before their expiration date. So this may require rotating items. For example, if you have just purchased milk, make sure that the container you already had in your fridge is in front, and that way it's pulled out first, it's used first, and the other container isn't open before the first one expires. And next, you will be meal prepping. So pick 1 to 2 days per week to prep ingredients for the recipes that you choose. I usually like to do this on a weekend day, just because it gives me more time versus rushing during like a weeknight. Your goal here is to do as much as you can ahead of time so that when it comes time to cook the meals, the least amount of time and stress is required. I'll give you an example of a 3-day meal prep routine. And I've chosen to make a Mexican bowl one night, a salad another night, and then a stir fry another night, which all cross-utilize ingredients. So the main ingredients that these meals share are chicken breast, quinoa, and veggies. So I decided on this prep day to just chop up some cherry tomatoes, cilantro, cucumbers, red onion, yellow peppers, and red peppers. So you can kind of see everything's displayed right here. And then I baked some chicken. I didn't season them too much or flavor them too much. I just did some salt and pepper and olive oil, and I baked those, and then I made some quinoa ahead of time as well. And all of this all together took me, less than 30 minutes to do. And this will set the framework for the week. Okay, so the Mexican bowl. So this is my first night. So all that I have to do is take some of the chicken that I already made, slice it, saute some of the peppers that I have sliced up here, and the onions as well. And next I'll add the quinoa and the chicken to the saute pan at just the last minute to heat it through. And then I'm gonna top it with tomatoes and cilantro. And then I've also decided to add some drained and rinsed canned black beans and frozen corn. And this can all be done within 10 minutes. So let me show you what that looks like. So that is this dish right here. So I've got my quinoa, I've got my chicken, cilantro, black beans, cherry tomatoes, my sauteed peppers and onions, and a little bit of frozen corn. And so another little thing that I like to do, so when making dinners, I like to think about how I can transform them into lunch for the next day. And I'll usually make my lunches right after dinner since some of the ingredients are already out, and so that the mornings are a little bit easier. So in this case, I actually just wrapped these exact fillings into a burrito wrap. So it looks something like this. So all I did, I actually added a little bit of low-fat cheese. I wrapped them up in tin foil, and then you can just stick this in the oven the next day or in the microwave with the tin foil off, of course. And there you go. There's a burrito. So the next night I'm going to make a salad. So all I have to do here is lay down a bed of greens, and then I'll top it with the veggies that are already chopped. So in this case, I did a little bit of red onion, I did some cherry tomatoes, and I did some cucumber, and then you can add any additional toppings that you like. So I added some sunflower seeds, I added some low-fat blue cheese crumbles, and then dried cranberries and a drizzle of low-fat dressing. So let me show you what that looks like. That will be this right here. Here's our nice little salad. Super filling, really pretty, very healthy, super tasty. And so for lunch the next day, I may transform the ingredients from dinner. I decided to make a sandwich in this case. So I just put some arugula down with some of the sliced red onions, the chicken again, and a nice sriracha mayo. So you can customize this however you'd like. But there we go, we've got a sandwich right there for lunch tomorrow. And then lastly, for the stir fry night, all I'll do again is just saute some of the onions and peppers, add any of my stir fry fixings, so soy sauce, sesame oil, crushed red pepper, whatever it is that you like to add to your stir fry. And then I'm gonna add my chicken at the last minute just to heat it through. And then I'm gonna top it with some chopped peanuts and cilantro. And then I also added some frozen veggie blend just to bulk up the dish a little bit and to add more variety to my veggies. And you can serve all of this over your remaining amount of quinoa. So I'll show you what that dish looks like. So here's our stir fry. Really pretty, very colorful, awesome taste. And see, and you'll notice these are the same exact ingredients, but throughout all of these dishes, but everything's made very differently. Different tastes, so you can avoid monotony with your food throughout the week. And then for lunch the next day, in this case, I might just try to eat up any leftovers that I have. And so, as you can see, meal planning and prepping for just a short time can save a lot of time and stress throughout the week. I was able to create 5 different dishes using similar ingredients that required very little preparation and very little cooking time. I actually made all of these dishes at once, and it took me just under an hour. So that's pretty good. I have 5 different meals prepared for the week. And then some other helpful tips when meal prepping are to prepare foods in bulk. So this may last for a few days, and you may be able to freeze the item, which makes for quick meals down the line. And then think about how you can bulk up and stretch meals. So I bulked up my stir fry by adding, frozen vegetables, or you can add beans or canned corn to your dishes too, just to stretch them out a little bit, bulk them up, and add a little bit of variety to your dish as well. And then cut corners when appropriate. So don't feel totally pressured to make everything from scratch. This isn't always realistic, and it's okay to use ready to eat ingredients here and there, and use things like pre-cut veggies or even jarred pasta sauce when appropriate. And then buy frozen vegetables and fruits. So these are packaged at peak ripeness, and they are typically low in salt. Also helpful to have some canned beans on hand. These are all very, very quick to prepare, and they're nice to have for the days that maybe you just don't have a lot of extra time. Plus they have very long shelf lives, which is great. They don't go bad quickly. So again, I hope you learned something today. I hope you're inspired to create some healthy meals and do a little bit of meal prep. And again, though meal prep requires a bit of planning, our health and our family's health must be our first priority. So for more information on dishes to prepare throughout the week, make sure to check out the links that I've added below. Thanks for watching.